You're listening to SM Media, the home of exclusive West of Scotland Football League content. Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media West of Scotland Football Show. I'm Scott McPike. It's always a pleasure to be your host. I'm delighted to welcome this week's special guest. It's a pleasure to welcome onto the show. It's been a while trying to get him, but I finally got him on. It's a pleasure to welcome the Giffnock manager, Barry McLaughlin.
Hi Scott, how you doing? Nice to be here. It's been a while, but glad to be here eventually. So,
I'm looking forward to getting you on, Barry. As I say, I've been looking forward to having you on for a while. At the start of the season, obviously, you were at a different club, Thorn. You're now at Giffnock. We'll get into kind of your time at Giffnock so far, but yeah, you've been in the West. Obviously, you joined the West when Thorn joined the West. How have you found it? What's the stand like? You've obviously played at a really good level. How have you found the West setup?
Yeah, I think it's really, really good. It's good now this year. Obviously, we have the 60 teams in it. Last year, it was a smaller league in Division 4. They're still obviously finding the proper structure within the league, but it's really, really good. It's a good step up, say, from amateur level under 21 football into the next level. So it's a very, very good pathway for younger players, especially, I would say, especially in Division 4 level. Lets them get their foot in the adult world and then kick on from there. So there's lots and lots of good teams in this division as well. I think a few teams are surprised when they play them in the cups just how good some of these teams are. So it's a fantastic league and it's only going to get better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, you've made the journey from Thorn to Giffnock. Giffnock, obviously, for people who don't know, were Harmony Row last season. There's obviously been a lot of changes at the club. They've obviously got a lot of ambition. They're moving to a new ground and things like that. How did that job come about? How did you kind of assess the situation, and what's it been like at Giffnock, obviously, with the kind of set up and where the kind of club want to go?
Yeah, so I left Thorn in the start of August, and then within a couple of weeks, 6 clubs approached me and asked me to have a chat with them about going to the club. So I met all these different teams. One of them was Giffnock, so it was from Division 1 downwards, 3 teams Division 1, and then 3 teams further down the pyramid. So I did a wee coffee chat with them. Just got their ideas, what they're looking to do going forward. So I met Keith as one of those teams from Giffnock who I knew from Harmony Row.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know Keith, very, very clever man, very hard-working guy. So he put together Giffnock coming over from Harmony Row, and they started as a West of Scotland team this year. So the plans were very, very impressive when I spoke to Keith. He's obviously very on the ball. He's got a lot of really good team alongside him, and like Alan, Jimmy, Cammy, Bruce and Willie, who are also doing a great job also. So just the plans for the team. So I know the club very well for years anyway. They've got 1,400 players at the club, ranging from the wee ones all the way up to the walking football, girls teams, everything. They've got great facilities out in Thornleybank and Eastwood as well. They're building a new ground at the moment, which is already very good. I think a few senior clubs have asked to use it during the day, and they're adding a couple of astroturf pitches as well. So the plans, immediate, medium and long term, they all really align with my thoughts and feelings about the game as well. They're keen to get a pathway in play as well for the younger ones coming through. So it ticked every box for me. I don't really always go for the big team highest up the pyramid. It's always the best solution for me, and I thought that was just perfect. So we've went in there and we've not been disappointed. The guys in there, as I said, Keith, Alan, Jimmy, Cammy, Bruce, Willie, all the boys are fantastic. Every day within the club, very, very professional. Care about all the boys. So no, it's looking good so far. I'm enjoying being there. So long may it continue.
And the performances in the league have obviously been very good as well. Kind of since you can officially took over. Like, I'm just looking at the results. Obviously going to Thorn and winning 3-2, been down to 1 at half time, beating Saltcoats 4-2. Obviously they're on our side that are kind of picking up a bit. We won over Eglinton, a draw at Royal Albert, and then obviously beating Knightswood last week. Obviously there was no game this week, but results have been very, very good. Obviously puts us in a good position. The league sitting in fourth. There's only a point between. Well, there's only actually, when you look at the table, there's only 5 points between second and seventh, and Giffnock are right there. So it's been a really good kind of start since you went in. And what's been kind of the main kind of factor with that, do you think?
Well, first and foremost, the Thorn victory, I wasn't there. We never started till January. So when I met Keith, it was agreed I couldn't start till January. Neither could Arnold, number 2, with too many things planned. And all existing commitments. So we started just after, at the start of January. And to be honest with you, it's very important to acknowledge, I think, you take over a team, just how good a job the previous guys have done. The previous guys ran the team. The team was in good shape. It didn't need Pep McLaughlin or Jurgen McLaughlin to come in and transform a team. They were in good shape already. So we come in, the boys have just really carried on the hard work that we're doing. So football's generally all about players. It's not about managers, it's about players, how good you are, how hard you work. And they've got a really good group of boys there. But the team has already had the guys in good shape, and they've just continued that. So they've done well so far. There's some good victories. With a really tough draw down at Royal Albert. Royal Albert's a tough place to go since the new guys come in. We had 85 minutes played with 10 men, and it was a real grind to try and get a result in that game. So they've shown different types of character since we arrived. Nice football skills, good character, and what have you, which you do need in this league. Every game can be very different. Every game's depending where you're playing, the age of the team you're playing, from the very young Knightswood to the older, more experienced teams. So the boys have done great so far, but it's a very, very long way to go. You know that league is very competitive, and probably teams all the way down to be 8th will feel they can still go up at the moment. So anything can happen.
Yeah, and obviously, like you'd said there about kind of taking over in January, one of the players that I want to touch on that's made a really good impression, obviously, with the goals he scored a hat-trick in the last game against Knightwood, is Gerald Clark. How impressed you've been with him, and how important has he been to what you're trying to do at Giffnock?
Yeah, very important. You can't win games without a goal scorer, so he's been fantastic. As of all the boys, to be honest with you, the defence has been outstanding as well since we arrived. I think it's the best defence in the league since we arrived. So, and that's not just the defenders, that's the midfielders and the strikers all contributing. But Clarkie got a wee bit stick. He scored a hat-trick against Knightswood, and his celebrations came under a wee bit of scrutiny from the boys. And the group chat the boys have, it's honestly, it's one of the most... It's like Billy Connolly's on there, some of the lines on there, it's absolutely savage, it's tremendous. So there's no way Clarkie will get a big head playing at this team, that's for sure. His pals all bring him down a wee peg or two, but no, he's an absolutely superb striker, there's no doubt about it. He's absolutely brilliant. As is the guys who played. Clarkie just came in, he was injured actually, that was his first real game to come back. So we've not really had him up to that point, and the guys that were playing up front, we signed Stephen on loan from Mary Hill, thanks to Mark Young for that. Cammy Mary played up front, done a fantastic job as well. So combined between the three of them, they've all done well since we came in. But no, we need. I'm a defender really from most of my career was in defence, but I played up front as well, and I played midfield. So I've got a rough idea what makes a good striker, and he definitely does tick the boxes. But you just got to keep on doing that and keep continuing as he's doing. He's doing great.
Yeah, and what was it? Obviously, before we get into talk about the action this weekend, obviously your game was called off. Away to New Mains, I think you were meant to go to. Does that kind of, having that game called off, does that, when you're in a good run like that, does that kind of just put you off your stride a bit, or are you just looking ahead to the next game? How does it kind of impact you?
No, it's a disaster because it means I've got to go to Braehead with the wife and do stuff like that. So it's not very positive for me, and I'm sure the boys are the same. So when you're playing well, you just want to keep on playing and build a bit of momentum. So I know this has been an issue for lots of teams. They've been going a good run, then they've not played for weeks and weeks. So just as such as the Scottish winter, unfortunately. But no, we're looking forward to playing. I've seen New Mains playing a few times this year, and a good team, especially a lot stronger at home, I would say, than are away from home. Looking at their points and what they've collected this season. So we're looking forward to the game, but unfortunately it just got called off, I think, on the morning of the game. So we never get the opportunity to play the weekend. But we'll look forward to going there. Maybe it'll probably be about March, April time now, I would imagine, when we'll go there. And we'll see how the league is when we go there next time. But it'll be a very, very hard game for sure. They're a good team at home. Very good.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get your thoughts on obviously all the leagues, especially the 4th division later on when we get through those games, and we'll touch on Giffnock, obviously the games coming up. But we did have a lot of action. It felt a bit more like a league weekend in terms of what was going on. Like, it felt obviously a bit more busier with not many games being called off. But we did have some cup action. We'll start with obviously Drumchapel winning the Strathclyde Cup. They won that 3-0 at home to Neilston on Sunday. I'm saying at home, it was actually at Broadwood. Right, congratulations to Drumchapel. Very impressive victory. Obviously, it's their second victory in the Cup. They go into the Scottish Cup next season. They obviously had a good run the last time. Why is this not being played at a junior style ground? I just felt watching it. I wasn't there. I spoke to people that were there, and they said the atmosphere was poor because it was at a massive stadium where in my opinion, it could have been played at like a winning, or even somewhere like do you know what I mean? Somewhere like even a New Tinto at Benburb or something like that. I just didn't get why it was played at New Tinto last year when Renfrew beat Whitlets. I didn't get it, but congratulations from Drumchapel. That's my rant over. Barry, would you think?
You've been holding on to that for a couple of days, I think, Scott. I don't know why they play there. They seem to play a lot of the youth finals there. We were there many, many times at Glenville 2s for Scottish Cup finals and what have you. And I don't know if maybe somebody within the West of Scotland League's a big Elton John fan, because I know Elton John played there many years ago as well, and there's pictures of him everywhere. So maybe that's what it is. But for such a good league that's building itself and promoting itself, I agree with you. I don't know why a traditional West of Scotland junior club was not used. There's plenty of good stadiums out there that they could have used, and that club would have benefited as well from a wee kick on the cash, and it would just have a more authentic feel, I think, wouldn't it? It was played at one of these sort of grounds, and there's no lack of good grounds they could have played at as well. So it's definitely a good idea going forward, I would say, to have the cup final at one of these grounds. But as you say, congratulations to Drumchapel. I know there's been a bit of investment there at the club. And one thing I do hate, when the teams win cups, people always say, oh, it's just a cup, the priority is a league, this. You get it at senior level as well. You win a league cup, and they'll say, oh, it's good to win, but we want to win bigger trophies. Any cup wins to be celebrated. I just hope all the boys, when they did win the cup, they went and took a day off work, or maybe a couple of days off work. Yeah. It was a proper celebration and properly celebrated, because winning trophies is difficult. It's very tough to do. So congratulations to them, and also to Nielsen getting to the final. You obviously overlook that sometimes at losing finalists, but that's a good achievement as well. So both teams, I'm sure, will now be looking to kick on, and once the Drumchapel boys sober up a wee bit, I'm sure they'll be looking to kick on as well. But it's great to get that trophy on the board so early in the season. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously it means they go into the Scottish Cup, they go into the preliminary round, as they did obviously the 2 seasons before. They obviously had a very successful run there. So big congratulations to Adam and all the guys at Drumchapel. Junior Cup, we finally got Johnstone Burgh and Dundee Downfield finally played their match. It was decided through penalties, and Johnstone Burgh have reached the quarter-final. They will play St Cadoc's. Looking at the quarter-finals, obviously, it now means 7 out of the 8 teams in the Junior Cup quarter-finals are all for the West of Scotland. It's a cracking advert.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Johnstone Burgh, I know Jamie very well. Jamie was at Glenville with me very briefly before he went to the Borough. I know the McKim family very well as well. Their dad, Danny, and Lewis at Glenville. So Danny's been running Glenville for about 245 years now. He's very, very passionate about the game, and it's fed into his 2 sons, Jamie and Lewis. But everybody knows Jamie has been there now for 6 years. He just signed a contract extension there, so he's done a hard job. So there's a few green-eyed monsters, obviously, about all this money coming into the club and the investment coming in. But he's earned that right, I suppose, to earn it, because he's been there and done a lot of the hard work prior to that. And obviously the money will be coming in now. The expectations will rise, and I know there's plans. They're looking to develop the ground and kick on from there and make it a proper community facility with additional facilities for all the youth clubs, etc. as well. So I can only see Johnstone Burgh going on and on and on. I think they'll be in the Lowland League within 3 years, and once you get in there, who knows what the structure will be in Scottish football. Hopefully it makes it easier to develop and move to the Lowland League after that. But they're only going to keep on moving forward. They actually got all the publicity at the start of the season with Kyle Lafferty's and Dorans and all these boys coming in, but they seem to have, Kyle obviously got injured early on in the season, so they seem to have really kicked on without Kyle, and they still have him to come back, obviously, so it's not a bad person to bring into your squad. I'm sure every game they play is a cup final, everybody will go up against them, so they'll have that challenge as well. But no, Johnstone Burgh, I mean, there's a lot of excitement I stay in the area as well about Johnstone Burgh, obviously Thorn as well. The 2 teams are in Johnstone, but there's big ambitions there at that club, and they're only going to go forward and forward and forward as far as I can see.
Yeah, and we're going to do a piece at the end of the week on Johnstone Burgh, and I think the kind of main focus of Johnstone at the moment is obviously there is a lot of talk, and again, is it a lot of people just kind of jealousy, I think is the right word to describe it. I do think there is that, but for Jamie to be, as you say, be there 6 years, and the conversations that a lot of people are having about Jamie that is so undeserved. He has done such a good job at that club and deserves the opportunity to take it forward, and I think he's going to. I think Johnstone are very good, and as I say, they're into a quarter-final, and I couldn't be happier for Jamie and his team. Let's move into the West of Scotland third round. We had 4 games. Cumbernauld 7, Lesmahagow 1. John Cunningham scored 4 goals for Cumbernauld. Thorn 2, Ardrossan 4. Hurlford 2, St Roch's 1, Royal Albert 0, Lanark United 2. It obviously means all 4 of those sides advance into the 4th round. I think the ties of that are played either next week or the week after, so that'll be interesting. What was your kind of eye-catching result out of them, Barry?
Well, the one I probably get most interested in is the Thorn Ardrossan game. Obviously, I know both teams relatively well. Ardrossan, I played with Gavin Freely at Evermeadow years ago. Gavin's doing an incredible job as a manager. I'm sure he'll be on the list of many teams higher up the pyramid if he keeps on doing as he's doing. He's doing fantastically well with obviously not one of the traditionally big Ayrshire clubs, but what a job he's doing there. And because I knew Gavin from my time at Irvine Meadow when we played, it helped get a player called Lewis Steele in to Thorn at the start of the previous season and pre-season. So that was Gavin was really good getting Lewis to the club, and Lewis has been absolutely fantastic for Thorn. He's one of the best midfielders in the league, so he's really kicked on, which is great. And that was down to Gavin. So I really hope he does well going forward with Ardrossan also. And obviously Thorn, I know everything about Thorn. It's a group of players I know very well from my time there. So that was one I was keeping a wee eye on. I see young Nathan scored again, and Nathan McLaughlin has been absolutely superb as well. He came into the team. Nathan was meant to be going to Queen's Park. He rejected a contract there because I gave an opportunity to come in the first. He'd already played in the first team the previous year, to be fair, a day after his 16th birthday, and he scored against Eccleston. So I kept a space for him all summer. Refusing to go and sign another experienced player, which the club would want me to sign, but I've got massive faith in Nathan. He's a fantastic young striker. I'm a great believer. If you're good enough, you're young enough, it doesn't really matter. And he's come in and he's been phenomenal. What a young boy, what a family, really great. He's the top scorer of the team, more assists than anybody. He's absolutely flying. So that was a game I was keen to see how it played out, and it looked to be a fantastic game. So credit to both clubs for putting on such a good show. Royal Albert as well. We played them recently, and I met Connor down there. Connor's got massive ambitions for Royal Albert. They've obviously brought in a whole new team from Les Mahago since they went in the door. They've been brilliant. Really tough game they gave us as well. So obviously it's too late in the day to do it this year, but I think they'll definitely be one of the favourites, if not the favourite, to win Division 4 next year. They're going to be very strong with Connor. So there's been some eye-catching games in that cup for sure, and it'll be good to see how teams now kick on after they go out of cup and move forward, because that's where the wee test of character comes in. But no, it's some really good games there, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move into the Premier Division. Obviously, near enough a full house. Obviously, Hurlford's game was postponed, obviously, due to their cup game. But 7 games, all very informative. We'll start with at the top of the table. Clydebank 1, Pollock 0. I don't know if you've seen this goal, Barry. Kieran Mulcahy overhead kick. One of the best goals you'll see over the weekend. And Clydebank obviously keeps a run going. 150 games, I believe, for Gordon Moffat now at Clydebank, so congratulations to him. And he couldn't have marked it any better.
Yeah, Clydebank are a team. I mean, I can remember playing at the old Clydebank Stadium and sitting there and playing against David Cooper, and I remember Mark Capello sitting in the front row with the Wet Boys many years ago. So the journey they've had since then has been fantastic, and they're right at the top of the Premier Division. So it'll be interesting. I know Beath obviously never went up last year, so with the Brian thinking, Scott, if Clydebank did go up to the Lowland League, there'd maybe be an additional promotion space in the league. Would that happen if Clydebank were up, do you think?
Yes, it would, unless, and the only way that wouldn't work is if less, obviously they need to win the playoff, and nobody for the Lowland League that comes down is going again the West of Scotland, which I doubt anyway, because I think it's between Gretna and Edinburgh Uni, and I think neither of them will. So yeah, if Clydebank were to go up, it would open up another promotion place.
Yeah, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of clubs cheering them on if that's the case. But they played Pollock as well. I know Pollock well. We had a relationship with him. I was at Glenville too. We trained in the opposite half to Pollock and introduced boys to the club. We had a wee arrangement going there, which was going to carry forward, but COVID ended that, unfortunately, when the team wound down. But Pollock are a huge club as well, so that's a great result for Clydebank, beating them. I'm just looking at Beath losing as well against Giffnock. That would have been a huge game down there. Ayrshire Derby, knowing both clubs. Strain, who I played with it here, he's obviously been there a while at Beath, and he would have been certainly disappointed last year, not because of the ground issue, I think it was. He didn't go up after winning the league, so that's a heck of a result for Giffnock. So going to be them winning that game. And Darvel St Cadoc's, Darvel, to their credit, I think, when Mick left the club, everybody thought they were just going to dwindle away and never to be heard of again, but they're absolutely doing brilliant, and that's a good result against St Cadoc's as well. Martin Fellas is doing brilliant there as well, and on Welford and East Kilbride. So that's another good result for them, keeps them up in the promotion, the title challenge mix for them as well. And I can see Garker one as well, Mick Dunlop, who I played with it here. Mick is a really, really good guy, although he does defy logic. Normally left-footed players are quite cultured and good on the ball. He certainly was neither of the two, but no, I'm only joking. Mick's a great lad. He's doing a really, really good job there, so hopefully he can continue there and carry on doing as well as he's doing. And Irvine Meadow, another massive Ayrshire derby against Auchinleck, that would have been huge down there. Auchinleck are obviously the Real Madrid, aren't they, of junior football? They're absolutely a huge club, and Ayrshire, they're very, very, very big down there. Irvine Meadow's my old team from when I played years ago, so it's been a very interesting match, and it looks like, from outside looking in, a convincing victory for Auchinleck, so I'm sure the crowd down there would have been good. Not people don't realise outside these leagues just how big some of these clubs are. Some of the supports they get is just ridiculous. My friend plays with Connacht now. He was playing senior football all his days, and he can't. I spoke to him about the game at the weekend, and he couldn't believe the crowd and everything. It was just unbelievable. He was really surprised. So it just means we do need to get a better pathway through these leagues and get a restructure in all these leagues, because there's so many good clubs in this division that are bigger clubs and teams higher up the pyramid, but so we do need to find a way of changing that going forward and seeing these teams moving up the ladder. But no, there's some incredible clubs in that league spot, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Cumnock obviously 1-3-1 away to Beath. Alan McKenzie, Sam Jamieson and Andy McLaughlin with the goals for Cumnock. Darvel 2-0, obviously they got up to second, beat St Cadoc's, Caldwell and Sideserf. You mentioned that obviously Irvine Meadow were 1-0 up against Auchinleck, but Auchinleck scored 4 goals to come back and win that game, obviously 4-1. Garcale and Glenafton, I've spoken to a lot of people from different sides of that game, and they said it was probably one of the most bizarre, crazy games they've ever seen. Mark McGuigan scored 3 penalties. Glenafton were down to 10 men. And again, I look at this, and I'm beginning to kind of get this feeling, Barry, that looking at the games in hand to be played, Clydebank, Darvel, St Cadoc's, Beath, I'm even going to include Pollock if they can get some wins on the board. We could be shaping up for an all-time great title race if all sides keep their momentum going.
No doubt about it. That's what I said about Darvel. They're sitting in second place. They're 11 points behind Clydebank, but with 4 games in hand, so they could easily take over Clydebank at the top of the table. Obviously, winning 4 games in that league's not easy, but on paper they can certainly do it. St Cadoc's, I know Martin's doing a great job there. They've only played 14 games as well, so they could easily go. I mean, there's so many teams could go top of that league. So many big clubs as well, all the way down. Pollock are down in 7th as well. Auchinleck, always every year. Auchinleck, when I played there, they had so many games to play every single end of season. I don't know if the pitch situation there, when I played them, it was a bit of a struggle with the pitch, but they've got a lot of games to catch up as well. Hurlford only 14 games. So it's a hell of a league. To be honest, if you're winning that league, it's fair play to Australia winning that league last year. There's so many big clubs in there, very, very competitive, a lot of good players. This used to be a feeding ground years ago for the senior club, so hopefully it gets back to that stage and a lot of these boys can make the jump into senior football, either with their own clubs through a proper pathway and promotion scheme in Scottish football, or move on to other clubs as well. But no, it's a hell of a league. You look at that league, who's going to predict who's going to win that league is an impossible job, isn't it?
Right, but it is that. But down at the bottom, big win for Rob Roy. They won 2-1 away to Arthurlie, and they moved 6 points clear of the relegation zone. Obviously, the Glenafton have got some games in hand, Troon do as well. But big win for Rob Roy, and I'm interested to see how that kind of does for them, because obviously big result. They haven't had many league wins to kind of talk about in recent weeks. I think the last league win, am I right in saying, was mid-November. So they'll take massive confidence for that, and they'll be certainly hoping they can push on from it.
No, all it takes is, I mean, this league, all it can take is just a couple of new signings to come through the door and it just transform a team, or you can have boys that are injured just come back from injury. I'm sure every manager watching this will relate to that, how much their squad can change week to week. So it can be hard to get a consistent run at times when that happens. A lot of guys, certainly maybe not so much now, but post-COVID there was loads of weddings, and a lot of guys go to weddings now. It seems to be for about 3 weeks. They don't just go for one night until they come back and do what they've got to do. But it's all about consistency, getting your squad there and everybody being able to not have to work at the weekend or do what they have to do and just be available to play. So I think most managers would just love that luxury of having a regular squad of boys at training every night and working with them. But sometimes that's all it can come down to. Maybe even at the end of the season, if you're playing catch up and you're playing 3 games a week for 4 weeks, it can catch up on you. And so sometimes the teams with the arse tough pitches benefit from that at the end of the season, because they're playing really most weeks and they can spread out the labour costs. So, but no, it's a heck of a league and a lot of good teams there.
Yeah, absolutely. Benburb drew 0-0 with Lags. Just kind of reading a report in the game and speaking to a couple of people. A game where there was no much quality on board, and both sides I think were quite happy to have a point. It keeps both sides kind of fairly solid. But moving into the first division, it was a weekend for comebacks in that league. But we'll start with the two victories. We'll start with Rutherglen. They moved to within 3 points of co-winning at the top. They won 3-0 away to Cambuslang. Anderson McDonald and that old guy trialist again get in on the act. He scored the third goal. Again, Barry, when you've got a trialist coming in, and I think I'm pretty sure that that's just knowing who it was, that this was his first game. There's a perfect way to make an impression of scoring in the game you're a trialist in.
This guy trialist, I don't know how Stevie Clark doesn't sign him up. He seems to score every week, this boy. So, no, this is all I can take. And I just have a friend of a guy in the team. He comes along for whatever reason. He's not signed with a club, and he comes into the team, and from nowhere, you just produced an absolutely fantastic player for your team that nobody knows about or nobody's seen. So, certainly, I would imagine it wouldn't be a trialist for very long if he's come in and done well in that first game. They'll be desperate to get him signed up, or maybe even the team that he played against will be desperate to sign him up as well. But no, it's very important when you do come in that you hit the ground running and you do well, because you might not get that second game to prove how good you are. You might only get the one opportunity. So he's obviously come in and done fantastically well. And it'll be interesting to see. I suppose from what you said there, you know who that trialist is, Scott, but you're maybe not going to say. But no, good luck to him, and it'll be good if we can see who he is, and I can maybe sign him next season, hopefully.
Yeah, interesting. We'll move into the other results. Shots 1, Renfrew 0. Paul McGeer with a goal. There was a bit of confusion as to who actually scored the goal, but I have been confirmed that it was Paul McGeer. And Shots are a team, looking at them, they've only played 14 games in the league, and they obviously started really well. They've only played 3 league games from the 28th of October, and they've won 2 of them. They won away to Neilston, they won at home to Renfrew. And looking at their fixtures, they don't have another league game until the 10th, and then I don't know if they're going to they'll have to make up a lot of games. My only worry with Shots is that if they're going to have to make up a lot of games towards the end of the season, it can sometimes be a bit of a detrimental effect if you're trying to play like as we think we might see Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. It's very, very tough, especially in that league when you're going to come up against kind of similar level opponents. But I think John has to take a lot of credit for the job he's done there.
Yeah, well, that's what I touched on before that. Actually, the week I retired, I played 4 games for Urban Meadow. My last game was at Auchinleck away from home, and I was literally seeing things during the game. I was that exhausted and so tired. I was seeing things and hallucinating. So, and I get pulled in the car, and that was enough for me. But the challenge is, as you say, playing 3-4 games a week, it's difficult. Boys are working and they've got other commitments on and different things as well. So it's very, very challenging. Obviously, the Borough played 14 games as well. I think their squad size might be a wee bit bigger than Shots, I would imagine, so they could probably cope with that a wee bit better. But it's a big ask. And see Peter Siller up the top, they play 20 games in comparison, so that can just sometimes be the difference is at the end of the season, just getting your games played regularly and not really having too much of a backlog. Because what a job he's done, 40, and if you say the lack of games he's played in that period of time, how do you keep a team ticking over and match sharp and up to speed? You can play as many training games as you want, wee bounce games, but there's nothing like competitive fixtures, and that's some going 14 games. If he wins his games in hand again, he'll be up the top. So doing a hell of a job there. Shots, well done.
Yeah, absolutely. Petershill, obviously, they missed a chance to go back to the top of the table. They were held 2-2 at home to Thornleywood. Thornleywood actually led twice. Kinlan and Smith scored for them, but Castles and McGarvey scored for Petershill. I spoke to David actually about Thornleywood, and he said something interesting. He said that they're kind of away, that they've got a lot of plans over the next few weeks. So if things go right for Thornleywood, and I think that's a good start for them to get a point in the board against obviously one of the contenders at the top of the table. I think Thornleywood could be a team to watch for the kind of second half of the season. And again, similar, they've only played 16 games and they're kind of level in goal difference. So I think if Thornleywood get it right, I think they should be fine, and they've got a good manager there.
Well, that's it. All it takes a couple of players, Scott, to come in and can just transform your team in, 1 or 2 coming back from injury. So if there's things happening there, then it gives you a lot of confidence going forward on these 2-3 wins to just propel yourself up that table. If they did win 2-3 games, they'd be right in the top half of the league. So it can change very, very quickly, especially if you've maybe got a wee midweek game in there, 3 wins in the space of a week. What what a difference boys are bouncing into training and they're coming 5 minutes early as opposed to turning up 5 minutes later, coming out their cars because they're so excited and they're all confident, loving playing. So it can change very, very quickly, momentum in a football team. So this is always my thing. I've always said this about management as well. I said I would like to see clubs at all levels, from all the way up to the Premier Leagues, all the way down, all levels, to if they start a season, you have to end the season with the same management team. I think that would be great to see. You give a wee bit of consistency with players as well, and they would have to sort of work together as a team. But I don't know if that would ever happen, but it would be certainly something I would advocate. Give a wee bit of consistency, but anybody that looks as if they're doing well and they've got good. Are they quite a young squad then, are they, Scott? What is the mix
well,
up?
I think they've got a mix, I think obviously just kind of speaking to a couple of people, they do have a lot. They've always had kind of young players and young boys coming through, but just kind of looking at their players, they've been quite a tight knit for a while. Like the boy Smith, Kinlan, guys that have been there a while, but they've still got young, but they've got a good kind of level of experience in it. As I say, I've always rated David as a manager, and I think it's the right kind of club for him. So I'm quite happy to see them kind of doing well. Final game in the first division, Whitelett's 2, Kilburnley 2. Whitelett's were 2-0 up. John Boyd scored an early double, but a late comeback from Kilburnley. Black and Bamford scored in the last 10 minutes to get a 2-2 draw. Probably very, very mixed feelings for Whitelet. So again, they've been so good since Mick came in, but Kilburnley, again, there's still kind of time here for both sides, and they're clearly in both sides in an upward trajectory, and both sides it will feel like a different point, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the new management team at Whiteleys are obviously doing very, very well. They've picked up. Obviously, they were way down the bottom when they took over, so it's going to be a big ask to try and progress too far up the league, but they're certainly doing a great job at the moment. They'll be absolutely gutted losing that 2-goal league, especially if they lost the goals late on. Another 2 points would have got them closer to St Rox and one place above them. And I'm sure the Saturday night wasn't a very happy one, but they'll dust themselves down and they'll go again this week and just keep doing as they're doing. They're obviously doing everything correct, and as long as you play well, the results will follow, no doubt about that. I'll be more worried if they weren't playing well and they weren't putting themselves into winning positions. So he's obviously doing everything correct. So it's easy to lose sight of that when you lose 2 late goals and you just go up the road a bit depressed. But we need to look at the big picture. He's going to have to obviously be happy with how things are going there.
Yeah, absolutely. Second division, 5 games we had. Muircup 0, Caledonian Locomotives 2. Finn scored and then it was an own goal. Caledonia now up to second. And big result for them, obviously, keeps them in the kind of hunt in second place. Obviously, Cumbernauld only playing Coolside drew 0-0 with fourth. So big kind of chance taken by Caledonian and Muircup. Muircup haven't been beaten very often recently, so it's a huge 3 points for them.
Yeah, anyone away from home, to be honest with you, is huge. Glasgow United obviously won as well away from home as well and different things, but anyone away from home at any level you're playing is always huge, so that will give them a massive boost as well. And again, it's another league. You just look at the league as well. It's very, very, very competitive as well all the way. Ardrossan obviously at the top, and teams are obviously coming in behind them as well. But there's a big range of games as well. Teams have played 20 games all the way down to 13 games as well. So it's hard to gauge how the league's going, and there's such a discrepancy over games played and games still to play. So you can find a team's way down the bottom of the league, and then within 3-4 weeks, all of a sudden they're right in the promotion spots from nowhere. So it's good to watch. But again, a lot of good teams in that league as well. So I'm sure there's a lot of good potential for all of them to kick on and do well.
Yeah,
Maryhill, obviously in that league, I know Mark very well. Mark's doing a good job there as well. So I don't think he was playing at the weekend though. So knowing Mark as I do, he's probably took in about 3 games on Saturday all different places and looking at different players. So no, it's a really, really good league again. Lots of good players in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Glasgow Uni won 3-1 away to Craigmark. Ardover, McKinley, Duffy with the goals. Vale of Clyde won 2-1 at home to Blackcall. Paul Donaghy with a double. Entertaining game between St Anthony's and Glasgow Perthshire. Glasgow Perthshire, I'm pretty sure, were 1-0 up through Musa and he's returned to injury. McMurray and Mulaney scored for St Anthony's to bring them back, and then a really good goal from the boy Fell, and it was a 2-2 draw there. And I just looking at that league as well. Obviously, the eye-catching result: Glasgow Uni beating Craigmark. They've really struggled, Glasgow Uni. So to go away and win only their second league win of the season, I'd probably say that's one of the results of the weekend for me across the whole kind of west of Scotland.
Yeah, and as I said before, they are sitting in the bottom of the league, Glasgow Uni, but one result. It's amazing how you can just change everything. You know, you can just turn things around, and then you can just go on a wee run of 4 or 5 victories. Then before you know it, you're mid-table. So this is a great thing about football. You can always recover. It's never really decided in the space of one game. It's a long, long season, so they've still got plenty of games to go. And if they can continue getting results like that, they'll have nothing to worry about. I'd imagine they'll be quite a young team as well, quite energetic and full of energy. So that can carry a long way in football as well. I remember years ago, my friend, boy Ian Durant, told me I was at Kelly. He said he was at Kelly after his injury. He said the midfielders there were Barry Ferguson, Charlie Miller, Gascoigne, and Reno Gattuso. And he said the worst player by a mile was Gattuso. The best player by a mile was actually Charlie Miller. It wasn't Gascoigne in terms of ability. Charlie Miller was just incredible, but the best career of them all was the worst player in Reno Gattuso, just because he worked so hard and he put the work in. So been really energetic and fit, and these young boys will be at Glasgow, and I'm sure it could really propel them up that league if they can just get the confidence going, and that one will do that for them, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Into the third division, Fanart won 1-0 at home to Glasgow United. The boy Dajnovic with a goal again. And Fanart, I've been really impressed with recently. The results, big result at home to Glasgow United. Bells Hill 3-2 away to West Park. Stuart Fraser and Markey with the goals. And the top two there, Bells Hill got games in hand, but Fanart and Bells Hill, big results for them. Tight results, but they'll take them all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at that league, there's a few teams obviously in there that we played last year. Three, they're a team that came up into our league last year, right, from another league. So they had a huge budget last year, and I would expect them. They were only finished third in the league last year. Everybody expected them to run away with the league, but it showed you how strong the league was last year. They've come up in third place, and they're now looking to propel their way through the leagues as well. But they lost to Dalry as well, I can see there, which was probably a wee bit of a surprise, I'd imagine, from outside looking in. But no, again, there's lots of good teams in the Erco side. West Park, I feel sorry for West Park because they had such a good team last year, and then 90% of the boys left overnight. So it's a brand new team, I think, that went in there. So it was a big challenge for them. I think if they kept that team together, they would have been very, very competitive in that third division, no doubt about it. Scythe as well, who we know well. Bailey's doing a great job there. Is he still the youngest manager in Scotland? Is he, Bailey?
Quite a distance, I still think. Yeah, but again, I'm quite surprised that I know Threave. I expected Threave to do well. I thought Scythe would take a bit of time to kind of gel in that division, but I still think they'll be fine. I've been really, really surprised that obviously with Threave, they've still got games in the board so they can still win. I thought Threave would really kick on, but obviously there's been a change of manager. I'm surprised, actually. I'm very surprised that they lost at the weekend. I know Dalry are a good side, but that's probably the surprise result for me is actually Dalry beating Threave.
Yeah, well, Threave, I know Vinny was there previously as a manager. There's been a change of management there, but Threave, their facilities are fantastic. If they don't play in their own grass pitch, they use Gretna's big Ashore pitch, so they always play good facilities, very, very good. And they'll be expecting, I would imagine, to move through the leagues. But again, it goes back to what I'm saying as well. Just because you're a big club, you don't realise the standard of these teams until you come into the leagues. And it's a big surprise for some teams. They just don't realise how good, like I said, Dalry is until you play them. And sometimes I would imagine if you're based down there, it can be quite hard to go and watch teams as well if you live locally down in that part of the world. So it'll be challenging for them, but it just shows you the standard of that league as well. I know they've got games in hand. They've only played 15 games, so they can win their games in hand, and then they'll win the promotion spots as well. But they're going to have to earn it. No one gives you anything in football just because you're a big club and you've got great facilities and good players. A lot of teams will, similar to Johnstone Burgh, are experiencing teams will raise their game against you, as Old Firm have done for years in Scotland. And I'm sure the guys were all pumped up going to Threave in such a good facility at the weekend for the Dalry guys. And so it's not going to be easy. They're going to have to put the work in, to be honest with you, but they're still in a relatively good position, to be honest with you, when they win their games in hand, and they'll be up there or thereabouts. But as I said, it's not going to be easy for them. Nobody's going to give them any 3 points. They're going to have to earn them.
Yeah, just the other results in that league as well. Obviously, Port Glasgow 1-4-3 at home to Scythe. Irvine Vicks 5, Ardere 0, hat-trick from Kyle Crawford. Greenock 1, Vale of Leven 1, and big result for Kello. They won 1-0 away to Girvan. That's only their second win of the season, so massive 3 points for them. Fourth division, let's get into the game. We'll start with Glenvale, 7-1 away to BSC Glasgow. The boy McLaughlin again with a hat-trick. I was speaking to Lewis last week, and he just said about keeping their consistency going. Scoring 7 away from home, a phenomenal performance again. And I like to think we had a wee part in that.
Well, I know Louis very, very well. He's obviously very low key. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. If Glenville don't go up, I'll run naked round Paisley High Street. I'll tell you that now. They're absolutely guaranteed to go up. Whether they win the league's obviously another matter. That's a different matter altogether. But they're 100% going to go up. They score so many goals. So the boys, I know other strikers as well. They come in. The boys have come in from the Borough, and it's just propelled them forward from where they were last season. No doubt about that. So Brian Connor, I know very well. The Glenville 2s, he was with us, and 3 years he was with us. He was top scorer every year. He got us to 3 Scottish Cup finals. He then left, went to A United. And COVID basically just killed Brian at United. There's, contracts they were few and far between because of cutbacks. Brian never got a contract to Ayr, but what an absolute fantastic player he is. Young James McLaughlin, Glenville 4 player, Borough 20s, fantastic striker as well. He's going to score a lot. Well, he has already scored a lot of goals. He's going to score even more. Sean Daly, who I know well as well, came from the Borough. He was at Thorn briefly for us last season as well. He'd done that well. And Borough were keen to get him back as well at the time. So he's absolutely flying. And Noah Young, who's came central midfield, he scored again at the weekend. I actually looked after Noah when I was in agency market. He was at Morton. He was one of the boys that I looked after. So I know him and his family very, very well. So, I mean, there's no doubt Lewis is a good poker player. He's obviously not going to say anything stupid, but they're definitely going to go up. They score so many goals. They're very, very exciting to watch. And certainly no many nothing eaches when Glenville are playing, but they'll definitely go up, and it's just a case of who's going to join them. But it's good to see, because I've got a lot of affection for Glenville there for many years. I've got a deep history with the club, and that knows my background, so it's good to see the club doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. A big result for Rossvale. They won 3-2 away to Saltcoats. And Rossvale, I know Josh quite well, and I know he'll have taken a lot of upset from their result 2 weeks ago against Easter House. So to get back, Saltcoats are a team on the rise, as we've said already, and it puts Rossvale into 3rd place, obviously a point ahead of Giffnock and level with Thorn. But I think that's probably a massive result for Josh and the Rossvale guys on Saturday.
Well, I know Josh well as well, doing a fantastic job at Rossvale, obviously coming in this season. Probably one of the most inconsistent teams I've seen, to be honest with you. Rossvale, they'll be incredible one week, and then from nowhere there'll be a sort of freak result will come their way, which will obviously frustrate Josh, because he knows how capable they are as a team. And Saltcoats are doing really well to come for 2 down to win that 3-2. That's one of those results that just changes your season, isn't it? And just gives you that big boost to move forward into the final stages of the season. But Rossvale were one of the favourites to go up this season. And to Josh coming in, he's a very clever boy. He knows what he's doing. He knows the game inside out. So he'll be absolutely delighted with that result, going down there against a rejuvenated Saltcoats and getting that result. It's a huge result for them. Saturday night would have been absolutely superb, I've no doubt about it. And he's a great lad as well, Josh, so good luck to him doing well. Obviously, we are trying to contend for a promotion spot as well, so don't want to wish him too much good luck, obviously, but no, he's very, very nice. I speak to him quite regularly, actually, Josh. He's really, really good, and any success he gets, it'll be well earned.
Next result, East Kilbride Thistle won 8-1 away to Knightswood, and I like to think that East Kilbride have got a good spread about their squad. Obviously, 73 goals they've scored in 20 games, but to win 8-1 and have seven separate goal scorers and then an own goal, I think Aaron will be absolutely delighted with that, because it means there's goals spread across his side, and in a promotion battle, that can make a massive difference.
Yeah, they're similar to Glenville and score a lot of goals, are very, very attacking. I do know that game. I know the Knightswood manager Stephen very well as well. I know there was a wee issue with a red card in the first half, and I think by the time they'd injuries and they'd used up their substitutes and what have you. So I was surprised when I saw that, because I know Knightswood are a decent team as well. So I was surprised when I saw that result. But East Kilbride, when they click, they're arguably one of the best teams in the league when they get going. They've got so many good players going forward. They're great to watch. A good mix, as you say, young and old in the team. So they've got a really great chance as well. There's so many teams can go up out of this league, and they will back themselves to do that. But if you're scoring 8 goals in a game, that gives the defence so much confidence to just go and play their game as well, because they're scoring so many goals. So I've seen these Kilbride a few times this year, and they've obviously come down from the league last year, so they'll be looking to bounce straight back up again. But that's a hell of a result, to be honest with you. And they've got as good a chance as anybody. They've gone up, no doubt about that.
Yep, absolutely. Killook held St Peters to a 1-1 draw. St Peters, looking at them, they've obviously had a really good start, but they've they've been struggling in the past kind of couple of weeks. Obviously, they lost at Thorn, lost at home to Eglinton, and that's 3 games without a win. And when a league's this tight, I think John will be wanting to get a win on the board as quickly as possible.
No, my big was actually that game. I watched that game, so with our game been off, so I'm a big fan of John. I've got a lot of time for John. He's built that team as a core group as a 2004 Scottish Cup winning team. So he's went with that team and he's built on that, and he's looking to progress the team, which is I really like to see that young boys getting that chance to come through the pyramid, and they will definitely get promoted. It's just a case of when they get promoted. If it's this year or next year, they will definitely get promoted. That's a really good group of boys he's got. They play the game the right way. They've got a fantastic goalkeeper, boy Jack Dillon, who is absolutely standing in goals. They've got good young players all through the team, so I know quite a lot of them. So they will definitely get promoted. It's just a case of when, not if. But John does a really good job there. He's good habits throughout the team. They get the ball down. They don't just launch the ball up the park. They play some really good stuff. They've got a nice pitch at Renfrew, which the ground share. They've got plans to try and get a ground as well. They've got planning permissions in and doing everything they can to advance the club. So St Peter's are a club you would really like to do well because they do things properly. They're very well run. They play the game in the right manner. And obviously with young players, you can have a wee dip. That's understandable. But they can easily just go on a 7-8 game winning run as well. They're a very, very capable team. And they'll still be one of the favourites to go up, no doubt about
that. Yeah, absolutely. Other results: Eglinton 4, Campbelltown 0. I'm quite impressed with Eglinton in recent weeks. Actually, they've had some good results. Obviously, one away to St Peter's. They had a difficult few games. Obviously, you've obviously played them at the start of January. They've been in a pretty good run for them, and I do think Eglinton, if they get a run going, I think they can be in a good position.
Yeah, another club. The facility's brilliant right next to Kilwinning, where they play cracking big astro pitch. Great for playing football on. There's been a wee bit of a lot of players coming in, a change of management and different things going on at Eglinton. I know the guys well there as well. So they've got huge ambitions to progress that club. They played Campbelltown. I know I feel sorry for Campbelltown. I know there's a wee challenge for them getting players for their away games. I think Norman was actually playing at the weekend as well, due to a lack of bodies, which is obviously explains how challenging it is. They're a different team at home. Campbelltown at home are very, very, very good. Away from home, it's a bit of a challenge for them. I know they've got a lot of boys at work and stuff like that. So, but Eglinton are a team. They're another team to keep an eye on over the next 2-3 years. They've got good investment, good guys, very, very good committee, very well run club. They could easily work their way through the leagues as well. It's going to be interesting in 5 years in the 4th division. How many teams are in the 4th division that were originally in the 4th division? When it started and really kicked on last year. So you're finding teams are coming down and they're not necessarily going straight back up again. So that 5-year period, everybody will find a level. And Eglinton are certainly one of the teams that could easily progress out of this league and keep moving forward because great facility they've got as well. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and final result: Lugar won 4-1 away at Easterhouse, and they've won the last 3. I think they've scored something like 16 goals in the last 3 games or something like that. I think it's something like that. They obviously are a side. They've got a lot of goal scorers as well, and they're going to be right up there as well. They've got the games in hand in like East Kilbride, Thistle, and Rossvale. So again, you look at that kind of top 7. I think Glenvale. I agree with you that Glenvale are probably up, and I think it's between the other 6 for the other 2 places. But Lugar are right in there as well.
Well, Lugar come down obviously from the league last year, so an experienced team. They can easily again go on a run, to be honest with you, and win lots and lots of games. They'll obviously play in a grass pitch over the winter months, so you would hope the games would hopefully be on more often than they're not, or else there could be a wee backlog there, which we've spoke about already, which could cause a wee bit of an issue. But in terms of their team's very, very strong. They're on a good run of form at the moment as well. And you said they're on 33 points. They're only 5 points off 3rd place with games in hand as well. So, I mean, saying the one, you even go down to BSC, they've only played 14 games and they're in 8th position, so they've got so many games in hand as well. I know they're a wee bit off the pace looking at it, but if they can go in a wee run, they're right in the mix as well. But it's a very, very exciting league. Unless you're involved in this league, you don't realise just how good a league it is. It's lots of good young players. They get their first foot on the ladder. If you're a team further up the pyramid, it's certainly a league I'd be looking at for good young talent, getting them in and progressing them as players, because there's so many good young players making that jump for the 20s football into this league. And so many teams beat teams from higher up in the cups as well, which teams don't really expect that. They always get a wee bit of a shock, but when I see these results, it's no surprise to myself when that happens. But no, Lugar are definitely a team that will, similar to the other teams round about there as well, that will be looking to get promoted this year. They're more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll go back to Giffnock. Obviously, we mentioned Campbelltown. It's a trip there for yourselves on Saturday. it's always famously it's always a long kind of hectic trip. But looking at February, I mean, we speak about this a lot in the show, where the kind of next few games are important. But just looking at Campbelltown on Saturday, then host East Kilbride Thistle, away to St Peters the week after that, then away to Luga, in the space of 4 weekends. If you come out of that with a winning record, hopes must be high that you can do this.
Yeah, we go to Campbelltown. So Campbelltown's always, this is where you find out who the good singers are and who the bad singers are. So I'll probably be the latter, unfortunately. But no, it's always a great trip. It's a good trip if you win, obviously. If you don't, it's a very, very long road back. And maybe a few of the boys will get dropped off at the jail at Inveraray and be back if we don't get a good performance. But it's Campbelltown away is such a tough game. Played it before. I don't think people realise just how tough it is when you go up there to play. It's a very, very tough game. When you play Campbelltown, but after that as well, then we have all these games against really, really good teams, all the sort of top teams. So this is what it's all about. You don't want the league to be 2 teams running away with it and what have you. You want it to be very competitive, and any of the teams that we're playing now over the next few weeks, we play Kilbride, St Peters, Luga, Glenville, Rossvale over the next 5 or 6 games after Campbelltown. So these are, as you say, if you get through that period in relatively good health, then we'll see where we are for the run-in, but they're all going to be good games, so we'll have to have our A game. And Mr. Clark, as you mentioned earlier on, he's going to have to obviously continue his good vein of form, as will all the rest of the boys in the team, if we're going to have a chance of beating these teams.
Barry, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and all the best for the rest of the season, mate. Thank you.
No, just to say as well, Scott, I know I speak for all the managers. It's a hell of a job you're doing this show. You raise the profile of the leagues, and I don't know how you fit it all into, but it's when you cover so much football, you must literally not have any sort of life away from it. The amount of time you spend in this, it's incredible. So on behalf of all the managers at all the clubs, a big thank you from me, and keep up the good work.
Barry, thank you very much, mate.
Cheers. See you later. Cheers.